Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic. It's the episode each week where I get to solve the Times Cryptic crossword. I actually don't know who the author is today, so apologies to said author. I haven't had my normal inside track, but I do know that today's puzzle is hard. Let's in fact look at the listing. Okay, so the first name that I am sure is real there is this Liam Hughes, I think, Lily, 7:43. Sam G. Davis, that time doesn't look like a typist time, so that might be a real time too. Verlaine's definitely real, Matthew Marcus. Chloe Hutton, 8 minutes 24. I mean, actually, Liam and Chloe were on the stage for last year's grand final of the Times Crossword Championship, so proper solvers who are taking what in that context is quite a long time to solve the puzzle. So I've no doubt this is difficult. That's definitely true. Let me check. I've got a dictionary to hand. I do, but it's not in the right place. Let's move that slightly. We're just going to use the dictionary, hopefully, to explain thinking about the clues. And oh yes, before I kick off today, I will mention two things. We have a Patreon site, which is where there's a lot of extra content to do with the channel, including Mark's solve of the Times Club Monthly Special, which is this vicious cryptic crossword. They only publish one every month, and it really is very, very difficult with obscure vocabulary galore. And Mark attempts that without a dictionary, so that's always worth a watch. Even if you're an expert solver, in my opinion, that's worth a watch. In fact, especially if you're an expert solver, because it's sort of annoyingly impressive. And the other thing I'm going to mention in the world of annoyingly impressive things is something I mentioned in last night's Sudoku video. It is an astonishing video that was shared with me by Gus. Gus, thank you for sending it in, about a Scrabble tournament that's going on at the moment. And it's about the end game in this match here, which is between, well, John Shreve and Nigel Richards. Now, Nigel Richards, if you aren't familiar with the world of competitive Scrabble, and you might say, why would you be? But if you're watching this video, I might say, well, you should be. Nigel Richards, I think, is indisputably the greatest Scrabble player who's ever lived. I think 5-time world champion, but a truly remarkable brain, for example, Nigel decided he wanted to compete in the French Scrabble Championship without actually being able to speak French. So in 9 weeks, he learnt the French dictionary and then won the French Championship. This is an incredible mind. And the reason this video was shared with us was the end game that evolves from this position on the board is really something quite phenomenal. So if you have 15 minutes of time free, I will put a link in the video description to this video, to the correct time stamp, and you can spend 15 minutes in delight and marvel at the brain of Nigel Richards. It is absolutely extraordinary, and I think all of you would enjoy it. So just a little tip there, something I found really amazing. Anyway, with that said and done, let's get cracking. Let's have a look at today's Times crossword, and it's here. And oh, is the internet going to work? Yes, let's go. 1 across, 7 letters. If clue initially reads badly, strike it. That's a great clue. What a great surface. Remember, when you read these clues, always ignore the surfaces. They are there to confuse. Now, what is this? My first thought was that it was an anagram. Let me explain that. So let's firstly deal with the core of all of these clues. All of these clues. There's one about Scrabble there. Just see, bit of Scrabble on Boxing Day. All of these clues have a straightforward definition of the answer, by which, just like a quick crossword clue, and that's very often at the start or the end of the clue. The rest of the clue is the recipe that tells you how to combine little individual bits, like you might have an abbreviation with another word, and you might have to anagram them or something like that. But it's the recipe for how to construct the whole word. So if we read this clue, if clue initially. Okay, hang on. So when I first read this, I thought it was going to be the initial letter of the word clue, which would be a C, and then reads, and then those letters were treated badly. But I could see that C plus reads, even if you added the if, you wouldn't get 7 letters. But how about I read it differently? If clue is 6 letters, initially reads? Could that be the initial letter of the word reads? That would give me an R. And if clue and R are 7 letters, so if we treat those letters badly, can we construct a word that means strike it? Lucifer. Aha. So we're looking for a reference to a match here, as in something you strike. Now, I don't know why. Lucifer obviously is a word that for the devil, but it has some sort of connotation in matches, which I don't know. So I'm definitely putting Lucifer in, but let's look up Lucifer and see if it explains anything to do with the match. There we go. A match of wood tipped with a combustible substance to be ignited by friction, also a Lucifer match. Archaic. So it doesn't really explain the etymology, it just is a thing. It's just one of those things that exists. A beautiful clue. And we've solved it. And if you get one across, that's often a good thing, because now we get loads of checking letters or starting letters for the down clues. So let's have a look at one down. 4 letters. Bet core part of livelihoods to be superseded by ChatGPT, etc. It's not going to be long before we're all superseded by ChatGPT. Although I will say, it's got a way to go in terms of puzzle solving. So, I mean, all of the AIs are rubbish at cryptic crossword solving, in my opinion. And they're also rubbish at variant Sudoku solving. That they're getting better, but they really do not think yet in human ways. And you may know this, though. In fact, there was an article in Forbes, Japan, this week about some work that Mark and I have been doing with a Japanese AI company called Sakana, where we've effectively challenged the AI world with a group of Sudoku puzzles and said, how are your AIs going to get on with solving these puzzles in a human-like way? So that's the key. Obviously, any computer could just fill in 1 to 9 in row 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 in row 2 and test a grid to see whether it met conditions over and over again and do a gazillion calculations and say, aha, solved it. But that's not intelligence in the way that we would think about it. That's not human intelligence. So it's can any of these AIs solve in a human-like way? And the answer to that at the moment is still very much no. But I find it a fascinating topic, and I've totally and utterly rambled, haven't I? I'm sorry, but I get distracted. Anyway, let's go back to this clue. So if you create AI out there and you're really cutting edge, have a go at the Sudoku benchmark that we've created, and tell us how you get on. I would genuinely be fascinated to hear if anyone out there claims to be making any real progress with it. Anyway, one done. Bet core part of livelihood. I mean, the core part of livelihood makes me think of the heart of the word livelihood. Now, livelihood is very long, isn't it? But the core part of it, is that L and I? Which would give, we have got an L at the start of this. Bet core part of livelihood to be superseded by chat AI. It must be AI, chat GPT, etc. But that doesn't make sense. I mean, that's giving me that, which isn't a word, I don't think. I think we're looking for a bet. To bet is to, if you lay a bet, don't you? Core part of livelihood. That must be the middle of the word. Have I miscounted? Livelihood is 10 letters, so the centre of it is 2 letters. It's L and I, unless it's livelihoods with the apostrophe S at the end, in which case the central letter is just I. But then where am I getting this L in the clue from? To be superseded. I'm not sure. Oh, no, okay. I've got it. Gosh, that's not easy. Right. That's really not easy. Okay, so I've sort of lucked into this primarily by thinking I couldn't think what ChatGPT etc. was apart from AI. That seems to be the most obvious short synonym for that thing. And I think some part of my brain was thinking of bet as in you can lay a bet. Now, bet is an unusual word because in the past tense, I bet, that can mean I bet in the past. And if I bet in the past, I laid, rather than to lay, I laid a bet. And that's the answer to the clue, but it's still not easy to see why. Even when you think, oh, could that be the answer to the clue? So the way this is working, and this is really hard, so do not worry if it doesn't gel with you, this one. The way this works is that the core part of the word livelihood is not actually its very centre, it's the whole of its centre. So you sort of, if you look at the word livelihood in front of you, you've got the start of the word and the end of the word, and the entire middle is being thrown out, the core part of it is being thrown out and being superseded, replaced by AI. And that does give laid, and that does mean bet. And that's very difficult. That is very difficult, but we have solved it. Now let's try 2 down. 7 letters. Accountant cycling in retirement, huffs and puffs and rests. Again, it's a very good clue. Okay, accountant. CA is very often used for accountant. I think it must be chartered accountant. Now, again, I say this every week, but you can't just abbreviate any word in a clue to its initial. It has to be supported by the dictionary. There we go, chartered accountant. Because I think there's ACA, isn't there? That is also, I think I'm an ACA. And from exams I did a very long time ago. But anyway, I think accountant is going to be CA. Cycling in retirement. See, if CA cycles, it would suggest it reverses, doesn't it? But that doesn't really compute with this C at the start of the answer. Huffs and puffs and rests. I don't know. I have a funny feeling that this is some sporting reference in Tiddlywinks, or is there some game that has huffing in it? Is it checkers or Monopoly 21, checkers and chess? Yeah. Where's that from? Where's that just popped into my head? Mr. Fred Blessy. Oh gosh, that's REM, isn't it? If you believe they put a man on the moon, maybe? Mr. Fred Blessy in a breakfast mess? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going mad. 3 down. 384. For goodness sake would fit here. It's strange if one daughter's not had drink after sacrifice in God's name. I mean, I love for goodness sake as an answer there. I have no clue why. I'm not even sure I quite understand what the definition is, but let's just put it in and see if we can understand. It's strange if one daughter's not had drink. Oh, to sacrifice is to forego. So this is probably right. It's strange. Oh, sake? Is that the drink? It's really difficult to understand what's going on here. So it's strange. Is that odd? Oddness? Yeah. Good grief. Wow. I mean, the constructor here has got some skills, let me tell you that, because the way this works is very, very complicated but beautiful. So, I think in God's name is for goodness sake. So that's the definition. The rest of it, the recipe, it's strange, is oddness. Oddness is strange. It's probably a word that's been used to describe me many times. He exhibits a degree of oddness. Now, oddness, if one daughter's not had, well, D is a valid abbreviation for daughter. Let's go and have a look at that. It is here. I know it's here. I just don't know exactly where. Daughter, there. Whoops. So, it's strange, oddness, if one daughter's not had, so take a D out, that gives you oddness with only one D in it. Drink, sake, and that goes after, all of that goes after to sacrifice, which is to forego. And, okay, so it's a great answer to get, not easy to explain. Let's try 4 down, Maverick's flying over. It can, oh, you know, I don't know if any of you have these smartwatches, they like buzz at weird times. That was buzzing me to tell me about my activity. But I wasn't doing any activity. I don't understand them. 6 letters anyway, 4 down. It can be difficult to find equal treatment with power ceded to Queen. It must, well, I have an idea as to what this is. No, I do know what this is. I couldn't see how the definition worked, but now I do. Okay, so again, one of the most crucial skills, I suppose, in solving these clues is to be able to cut them in the correct place. What do I mean by cut them? I mean to separate them into the definition part and the recipe part. Now, the constructor will go to great lengths to conceal where that cut is, and the very best constructors will use common phrases. Let's look at a phrase like Easter Sunday. Now, when we see the words Easter and Sunday together, we read them together. It's incredibly natural. We see Easter, we see Easter Sunday. However, a constructor might deliberately make, you know, the cut in the clue between the Easter and the Sunday in order to confuse us and to surprise us as solvers. So here, try and decide where you think the cut is in the clue. And it's not easy to see, but it's actually after the word find. So if you got that, well done. It can be difficult to find is the definition. How does the recipe part work? Equal treatment is parity. With power, which can be P, from we'll check that in a minute, but that's the dictionary does have power, or P as an abbreviation for power. Ceded to Queen, or Queen is Regina. So there's a few abbreviations we need to know in order to understand that. So let's go to P, power, from physics. Let's go to R, which can also be king, confusingly enough. Look, here we go. Regina, Latin for queen. Rex, Latin for king. So this R is the queen there. So the word parity cedes its P and instead takes an R. And that gives us rarity, which of course is something that's difficult to find. Now, we probably have to look at 9 across now, don't we, I think. Interpret would fit. Ooh, try to make sense of. Well, that looks good. Painter. Aha! Oh, well, I can tell you something, actually. I got some inside information. Something I've said many times in these videos is that if there is a hidden clue, and we'll talk about what that means in a moment, in a Times crossword, there can only be one. Now, I was corrected by none other than Shane Shabankare about that, and Shane should know. The actual rule at the moment is that if there can be 2 hiddens, but if there are 2, one of them must be a reversed hidden. So this is not a reversed hidden. So what is a hidden? A hidden is the one that we all look for when we start solving for any cryptic crossword. Most crosswords do have one of these at least, and it's where the answer is actually written in the clue. So if you look at the phrase painter prettifying here, you can see spelt out within the letters of painter prettifying, INTERPRET, interpret, which is the answer. Now, two things. Firstly, as always, the clue must have a definition. And here the definition is try to make sense of. So the cut comes after the word of. Secondly, the constructor must tell you it's a hidden. They can't just hide the answer in the recipe part of the clue and say, there you go. They have to say it's hidden. And the word that tells us that it's a hidden is houses. Because the letters of painter prettifying are housing. They have within them the letters of interpret. So the simplest form of a hidden would be the word in. So imagine this clue read, try to make sense of in painter prettifying. Then we would all, I mean, it doesn't make grammatical sense, but we could all understand that inside the string of letters painter prettifying, we would find interpret. But houses is a very beautiful way of doing it, especially with the word prettifying. Try to make sense of painter prettifying houses. It's really very well worded. Now let's go back to 2 down, where we've got a T now as well. Oh, this was the Mr. Fred Blessy and a breakfast mess. Huffs and puffs and rests. I mean, rests, I want the definition to be rests, because I don't think that I know any 7-letter words for accountant, let alone accountant cycling in retirement or something like that. Another good tip for which part of the clue will be the recipe is stuff that indicates cycling, or things breaking, or things being above or below or to the right or the left of other things. All of that is suggesting a recipe. It's suggesting an ordering of things. But what's huffs doing in here? Huffs and puffs and rests. I think these are all, huffs, puffs and rests are all going to be synonyms for something I can't think of. And this is going to be a plural for that thing. I don't know it. So let's try 11 across. 5, 3, 6. Feeding spirit, shattered tenor had kip. Missing intro to national anthem. Okay, I don't know what this is yet, but I do know what I think the definition is. So I'll tell you that, then it'll prove to be wrong, and then I'll feel a bit silly. But I'm pretty sure that the definition to this clue is anthem, not national, just anthem. Why do I think that? Well, it's this phrase, missing intro to national. I don't see any way of interpreting that in a cryptic sense apart from missing the letter N. The intro to the word national is N. That's its initial letter. So missing intro to national makes me think subtract an N from something. But then what's the word anthem doing at the end of the clue? I think it's going to be the definition. How could the rest of it work? Well, feeding spirit. So if we can think of a word for a spirit, ghost or something, we can put inside, we can feed to the word ghost a shattering, an anagram of tenor had kip without N. Which is going to be how many letters? That's 10 letters of the 14-letter answer. So our spirit, soul, perhaps. There are short synonyms for spirits that come up that are more difficult. Car, K-A, I think, is a good Scrabble word, but I think K-A is some sort of weird spirit. Oh, hang on. There we go. Ancient Egypt, perhaps a word more relevant for the listener. Oh yes, I meant to mention this. There is a chance I might have a go at the listener crossword tonight. I have been told apparently it's a very good puzzle. I know nothing else apart from that. I used to do the listener religiously. I don't do it at all anymore, except when I get tipped the wink that it's an exceptionally good puzzle. So if I have time, I might try and record myself doing that, almost certainly for a Patreon video, if I get the time at all. So just something that might happen. It might not as well. Feeding. So spirit. Let's say spirit is soul. Tenor had kip. You can get the out of that. So this middle word is probably the. And an anthem. Probably not a national anthem. I wonder if it's going to be the name of a song that's considered an anthem. And it's going to have K and P in it. I'm not thinking of it, I'm afraid. Bobbins. Let's try it. Let's go for 5 down. 5-3. Peach or prune that is seen peeled. Peach. I don't know what this is, but again, I think the definition is going to be peach here. Why? Well, it's just this word peeled. I can well imagine words being peeled. That would suggest that you sort of take the first and the last letter off them, wouldn't it? Cutie pie, I really like here. Oh, it is cutie pie. It is cutie pie. It's beautiful again. This is a really good puzzle, this. Right. Why is it cutie pie? If you don't know, spend a moment, pause the video, have a look at the clue, and try and work out why. I think it's good. It's a very good clue to try and appreciate what's going on. So, the word or here is being used almost like an equal sign. It's saying that this half of the clue, the word peach, defines the answer, but we could also represent the answer, or, as prune that is seen peeled. How does this work? Well, if you prune a plant, you cut it, don't you? So prune is cut. That is id est, i.e. And seen peeled is the word spied, S-P-I-E-D. If you've seen something, you've spied it. And we peel the word spied. We take away the first and the last letter to leave pie behind, and we get cutie pie. I mean, basically confirming the here, unless this happens to be toe or tie, but it's probably the. But I think I'm going to need more help with that one. So let's try 5 across, 7 letters. Hydrogen injected into carbon mainly to support frame. Well, I don't know if this is right. I want it to be, I think it is actually, I wanted it to be chassis, which I know is a word for a frame. Why? Why am I going in the direction of chassis? Well, the word hydrogen is a chemical element. If you think of the periodic table, all of those elements have abbreviations. You do need to know those. Not all of them. You don't need to know sort of Einsteinium or things like that. Oh, wasn't it sad, by the way, that Tom Lehrer passed away? A great hero for anybody interested in wordplay and language. And just, yeah, I got into Tom Lehrer when I was quite young, and I've loved his songs for years. But anyway, why am I thinking about Tom Lehrer? Well, the elements. There's antimony, oxygen. Oh, I'm going to get it wrong now. Hydrogen, nickel, neodymium, an iron, americium, ruthenium, uranium, and oh no, I don't know. But you know that song about the elements, Tom Lehrer. That's going to annoy me now. There's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen, and oxygen, and nitrogen, and rhenium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, ruthenium, bobbins. Anyway, sorry. So, hydrogen is H. that's injected into carbon. Carbon is C. So I'm thinking this is a 7-letter word that has an H and a C in it. I can see the C, and it might mean frame. Well, that's going to be chassis. Why is it chassis? Well, it's chassis because to assist is to support, and mainly here is saying we're taking the main bulk of the word assist. We're taking almost all of it, not the whole thing. Now, a little tip for you. If you see any reference to taking most of a word, you might see a word like cut or shortened or something. I think by convention rather than necessarily, it will only mean chopping off the last letter. So, and I can well understand it might feel very daunting to shorten a word by any number of letters. You won't have to do that. It's almost always just chop the last letter off or chop the first letter off if there was an equivalent. So mainly to support means we're taking 5 of the 6 letters of assist, and we get chassis. Now let's try 6 down, which is another long one. 15216. Bit of a hoo-ha, derailed. Precautions at llama farm, ultimately. Okay, well, again, what do you think the definition is here? It's possible, I suppose, it's the word ultimately. That would be quite funny if it was ultimately a... I don't think it's going to be, because if you think of farm ultimately, you should be thinking, if you've got your cryptic hat on, oh, that's the ultimate letter of the word farm. Now, if that's true, and I suspect it is, I haven't solved the clue yet, but I think it's going to be true, then the other side of the clue must be the definition, which is going to be a bit of a hoo-ha, probably. So, bit of a hoo-ha. A storm in a teacup would be lovely. Yeah, maybe. A storm in a teacup. Yeah, precautions has got a lot of the letters of storm in a teacup in it. I think it's a storm in a teacup. Derailed, I suspect, is being used as an anagram indicator. How many letters are there in precautions? Is it 11? If it's 11, and what do I need? 11, 12, 15. So I need 4 more letters. I might have miscounted it then. I was wondering if it was going to be the ultimately was referring not just to farm, but to at, llama, and farm. That would give us 3. Oh, unless it's at and then llama farm. Yeah, maybe it's that. So let's assume I have counted precautions correctly and there are 11 letters in it. I need 15 letters. There's 2 letters in at, so that's 13 letters. And if I took the last letters of llama and farm, A and M, then I reckon, I don't know, I'm not going to work it out, but I think that's probably the correct anagram fodder for a storm in a teacup, which is a bit of a hoo-ha. Now, right, let's try 10 across, 5 letters. A bit of Scrabble on Boxing Day, Mark. I mean, this sounds like it's talking to our Mark, doesn't it? Bit of Scrabble on Boxing Day, Mark. I want it to be, I'll tell you what I want it to be. Tilde. I don't know why. It is tilde. It's beautiful. It's just brilliant. The reason I wanted it to be tilde is that Mark, I don't know why, but in cryptic crossword worlds, marks are often diacritic marks, so commas, colons, things like that. And I was trying to think of a mark beginning with T, and the only one I could think of was tilde. And it is tilde. Because a bit of Scrabble, this is so weird, isn't it? It's so weird that we were talking about this. It's all about tiles. A bit of Scrabble is a tile. On Boxing Day. So that's saying if the word tile, boxes, an abbreviation for day, which it won't surprise you, is D, we can create tilde which is, I think, a mark in Spanish. A diacritical sign used over N in Spanish to indicate the sound NY, as in, oh, canyon, is that then, maybe? Anyway, that's what it is. So tilde, beautiful clue, made me smile. 7 down, 7 letters. Dreadful, opening piece from Italian serial composer. Dreadful opening piece from Italian serial composer. I haven't got this. The only thought I've had is, could it be the name of a composer? And I can think of, if you've seen Amadeus, you'll be familiar with the composer I'm thinking of, which is Salieri, which has got a lot of the letters of serial in it. Yeah, I think it is Salieri, isn't it? I mean, what a movie that is, by the way. It's still brilliant. It's so old now, I suppose, but if you watch it, it just hits the mark. It really does. But anyway, how does this work? How does the recipe part of this clue work? If we accept that we think the answer is Salieri, being defined as composer, how does the rest of it give us that? What's the recipe? Dreadful is an anagram indicator. It's saying treat what I'm about to tell you in a dreadful way. The opening piece from Italian is the opening letter from the word Italian, I. Serial is just those letters. And if you anagram I and serial, I think you do get Salieri. And that it will be correct, therefore. So what's this one? National, no, not national anthem. Not sure. We've got to get 8 down. 10 letters. Wear this running in street. Wear this running in street. I mean, this is a great clue for trying to split the clue up. I mean, actually, I will mention something, which is that there are exceptions to my rule about the definition being at the start or the end of the clue. There is a type of clue called a cryptic definition, which is indicated with a question mark. A question mark can indicate other things as well, but some clues are what we call cryptic definitions, where we have to read the whole clue and think about it cryptically. So this could be one of those, but if it is, I don't know what the answer is. Wear this running in street. No. That's brilliant. This is a worldie. So there is another type of clue that disobeys my rule about the definition being at the start or the end of the clue. It's a much less common type of clue, and it's very hard to write. We had a brilliant one of these last week as well, but it's what's called an and lit. Now, an and lit is a very special type of clue, which is a clue where the whole clue operates as a definition of the answer, and the whole clue also operates as the recipe for the wordplay. So it does 2 things at the same time with the same words. So it's a bit magical, and that's exactly what's happened here. So where this running in street is the definition that of the word we're going to enter here. But believe it or not, it's also wordplay. Where this running. So running is being used as an anagram indicator. It's saying the letters of where this need to run. They need to scarp. They need to, become liquid, if you like. They're going to anagram. That's 8 letters. Now, street can be abbreviated to ST. So we're going to put an anagram of where this in an abbreviation for street, ST, and I'm pretty sure we can get sweatshirt out of that, which is exactly what you might wear if you're running in the street. Isn't that extraordinary? That is an absolutely brilliant clue. Now, what's this then? Is it Zador the priest or something? Oh, that's really... It is, isn't it? Because it's got zest around the outside. I think it's spelt like that. Zadok the priest. It's spelt like that. Zadok the priest. That's got my K involved in it as well. So zest around A-doc. I'm just looking at the anagram fodder, which is tenor had kip without N, isn't it? I think that feels right. Zadok the priest. There we go. Which is an anthem. Another brilliant clue. Let's try 14 across, which must be diminish, I was going to say. Contract, diminish. So, sign me up to gain access to beauty contract. So again, look what the constructor's done then. We see beauty contract, and I don't know, there's something about the way my brain works which normally would want to read that together. But because I suspect the answer is diminish, I'm going to cut it after the word beauty. And a dish can be a beauty. So I haven't quite that. Diminish. Sign me up. I'm in. Oh, it's lovely. If you say I'm in, you're saying, yeah, I'm game. I'll sign me up for that. I'm in goes in, it gains access to, so it's inside a word for beauty. A dish is a beauty, and diminish is the answer. This is, I have to say, this is a fantastic puzzle. I wish I knew who it's by. Maybe I might know by the time the video goes live, because I have to edit it in terms of putting the sort of title on it and things like that. So I'll, if I do find out, I'll put by and then the name of the constructor. So 13 across 6 letters. What's here? That looks a bit weird on my screen. It is just what's here, isn't it? What's here? Is that a colon? Oh, I know what's happened. Here has been italicized and it's shifted, so it's leaning right and it's bumped into the colon, I think. What's here? Villains, ideally. What's here? Villains, ideally. Oh. Well, hang about. Hang about. This... Well, okay. I think I've just disproved a rule I've told you about a few minutes ago. I feel bad now. The answer I've thought of here is inside, because villains, you know, ideally they'd be inside, they'd be in prison, and so this is sort of it's sort of an and lit again, because it's sort of saying, read the whole clue. What's here? Villains, ideally. Ideally, villains would be inside. And also, what's inside the letters of villains, ideally, is spelt out INSIDE, inside. I think it must be inside, but that sort of suggests that we've got 2 hiddens in the clue. I guess this is more of a classic hidden. This is sort of an and lit hidden, but I'm still a bit surprised cutlass would fit here. Oh no, what is this then? Accountant cycling in retirement. Huffs, puffs and rests. Catnaps would be rests. Oh, that must be right. I don't know why. Accountant cycling in retirement. Huffs and puffs, pants. Oh, hang on, I'm not sure. Okay, I mean, here is a possible explanation for this, which is a bit stretched, but I have got a possible explanation. could accountant be AC? It probably can be. I'm not sure, but let's say it could be. No, I don't like that. I think accountant is CA. And then cycling in retirement, huffs and puffs, is saying, think of a word for huffs and puffs, which I think is pants. And then cycle that word backwards, because it's in retirement. And cycling in cryptic crossword land often means take the last letter and put it first. And then the next cycle would be to take the new last letter and to put that first, etc. So you get a cycle. And that is what's happened here, isn't it? P-A-N-T, and the S has gone first. So I think that's how it works. And the whole thing means it equals rests. So and here is doing the duty of the equal sign. And catnaps is is defined by rests. It's really, I mean, absolutely impossible to solve unless you basically have as many checking letters as we did. But we've done the top half now. Let's risk 12 down, which would be super because we get all these starting letters. 10 letters. Wet blankets outside during short run. See, what do we think the definition is here? Do we think it's wet blankets, short run, or run? I am not sure. Run can be abbreviated to R, and that's from cricket scoring, which has a disproportionate effect on cryptic crosswords. I think cricket scoring, it really does. Over can be O for the same reason. But I actually wonder here if run might be the definition, because wet blankets, if we were to try and read that rather than as a definition of sort of somebody who was a bit of a, you know, a namby-pamby, could it be a word for wet that blankets, so it surrounds outside during short, and then during, whatever that was, a word for during could be shortened. I have no clue what this is. There's too many options, I think. Let's try and get some letters for it. 16 across. 233. I note response to where Duke's suffering embarrassment. I want it to be in the red. I note could be I-N. Response to where Duke's suffering. Response to where? There? Is that a response to where? It might be, actually. Suffering embarrassment. Is that really in the red? Because in the red means that you're sort of overdrawn, doesn't it? Is that the same as suffering embarrassment? You turn red when you're embarrassed. Maybe in the red is sort of a colloquialism for being embarrassed. Because I can sort of explain it if in the red can mean suffering embarrassment. I can explain the recipe part of it. I is just the letter I. Note is N. That is a valid abbreviation for the word note. A response to where. If somebody said, you know, where's the book? And you knew where it was, you might say, there. So that feels like it might be right. And then Duke can be abbreviated to D. So in the red is justifiable. I think I would put that in with 80% confidence. But I'd be prepared to change it. You know, if I got stuck on 15 down with an E here, I would certainly be prepared to think again. Let's keep going though. 18 across, 6 letters. Starting to gags, consistent with smoke. I don't know what this is, but if we're thinking about recipes, what could the phrase starting to gag mean? To me, it must mean the start of the word gag. G. So if that's true, the definition is probably the word smoke. So starting to gag, apostrophe S, that might be for has. So has is next to a word that means consistent with, which is consistent with after, I keep thinking. Smoke. I've never smoked, and therefore I view myself as inexpert on all of the different types of things that one might smoke. Consistent with smoke. I don't know. Not sure. We're going to have to get... Well, let's... 21 across would be great, wouldn't it? 626. Sorry if this is crude. Way to make showman be shown. Well, I don't know what this is at all. Well, sorry could be excuse me, please. But the thing that I'm interested in actually is almost not what the answer is. I'm interested in the way to make showman be shown. Because I can see that from a letter's perspective, I could make showman into the word shown by taking the M and the A out of it. So I'd love this to be some reference to taking ma out of showman. Mother. Mother. Sorry if this is sorry. Let's just put excuse me please into it. Excuse me please. If this is crude. Or maybe the definition is sorry if this is crude. Excuse me please. Maybe that's... Excuse... Way to make showman. I almost want it to be excuse ma please. It's sort of... I don't know. It doesn't look right, does it? Or at least it might be right, but I can't see quite how it works, which is distressing. Let's try 23. 5 letters. Casual trade in island, American island. Tonga? Samoa? Casual trade in Ireland. Oh dear. I've created a total brick wall here. This is a disaster. Oh, let's see if we can justify the 17 down with a T. 7 letters. Lacy kits modelled in such a way. I mean, yeah, okay. If something is modelled, that should be making you think, oh, anagram. Lacy kit. This is another skill that you'll pick up the more puzzles you do. But there are some strings of letters in clues that just feel wrong to your eye. Your eye will look at them and think, that's a weird collection of letters. And that's what my eye sees when it sees Lacy kit here. And something you can do as you get better at solving is you can almost look at a puzzle and just scan the clues without reading them at all and make your eyes think about whether they're seeing something that they don't like aptly placed here. Again, that has the same feeling to me. Is there an anagram? Is immediately what my brain's thinking. But here, Lacy kit, it just looks weird. Modelled confirms it's an anagram. And then in such a way, question mark, is... So that's implying we have to read this in context very slightly. So what do I mean? Well, it doesn't mean, if we cut the clue after the word modelled, because that's where the wordplay ends, and we disregard that from our minds, then is the phrase "in such a way?" defining anything? It's certainly not defining what I think the answer to the clue is. The question mark is saying, in this particular instance, you do need to take into account the meaning of the words "lacy kits modelled," even though they're actually part of the recipe, which normally would be quite separate from the definition. And if a lacy kit was modelled, it might be modelled tackily. So it's sort of a semi-analyt, this one. It's not quite an analyt, but because it does, the definition does borrow from the wordplay. I see "excuse me" would work here again. Excuse M. But it's definitely M and A that would have to come out, isn't it, to make showman into shown. Sorry if this is crude. Excuse my... I wonder if it's not "excuse me", "excuse my French". Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that is brilliant. Goodness. "Excuse my French". Because French for "my" could be "ma", couldn't it? "Ma mère" is "my mother". Ah, so "my" in French is "ma", M-A. So "excuse my French". Ah, good. I mean, this puzzle is something else. It is startlingly brilliant. Sorry if this is crude, excuse my French. So that is the definition, because that's what you say if you swear, isn't it? You're euphemistic. You might say "excuse my French". Way to make showman be shown. It's just brilliant. It's brilliant. Now, should we go for 20 down with an F second letter, 6 letters? Raise may be aloof. I've got this one. So I don't think this is that easy either, even though we've got blank F at the start. The apostrophe here is an outrage. I mean, it's a clever outrage. It's not wrong. It's necessary. If something belonged to Ray, and Ray wasn't a man, but Ray was a fish, as in a stingray, if something belonged to that Ray, it would be of the fish, the Ray being the Ray, offish. And if you're offish, you're aloof. It's clever. It's really clever. Not of me, of whoever the setter of this brilliant puzzle is. Now, we must try 26, 7 letters. Maximally in pain after irrational hour boomeranging. Well, again, let's try and work out what we think the definition is. I don't know. I think it might be maximally. The reason I like maximally is this phrase at the end, irrational hour boomeranging. Because this comes up occasionally, but irrational. Irrational will make you think like mad, something like that. But there are also numbers that are irrational, and the most famous irrational number is pi. So I think irrational here is pi, and hour is being abbreviated to h. So irrational hour boomeranging might be HIP. And then we've got a word for in pain after the boomeranging of the HIP. And it means maximally. And the answer is in pain. Achy. Hip achy. That's not a word. In pain. I really like the thought of achy there, but I don't think that's a word, is it? Maximally. I don't know. I'm not sure. Have we looked at this? No, we haven't looked at this one. 9 letters. Aptly placed. Lawyer's battleground. Aptly placed. Lawyer. Don't know. Lawyer? What could that be? I think I've seen tout for lawyer. I think that might be a lawyer, a solicitor, and tout might be synonymous. DA in American terms, district attorney. Lawyers, battleground, court, something, Agincourt. Oh, it must be Agincourt. I don't know quite why. Aptly placed. Lawyer. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, the battleground, the battleground must be Agincourt, the Battle of Agincourt. Now, how does Agincourt give us aptly placed lawyer? And I think if you're agin something, A-G-I-N, you're against. So the lawyer might be aptly placed, because in a legal sense, if in a legal battleground, the lawyer would be against you in court. So I think against Agincourt that's what's being punned on there. Again, not easy without checking letters, but I feel like that. I feel pretty confident that is how that's meant to work. Now let's go for 22 down, 4 letters. One piece of information is all I have uncovered. One unit? Unit doesn't have a T as its second letter, Simon. That's an important point. Atom. One piece of information is like a datum or something. One piece of information is all. I mean, what I want this to be, all I have is going to be sort of my. Oh, it is. I've actually got it. It's all that you have is your estate. And if you uncover the word estate, if you take off its clothing, its first and last letter, you get the word stat. And a stat is a statistic, a piece of information. So what is this then? Hip. In pain. Maximally in. Maybe, hippist. Oh, it is hippist. Good grief. I read this wrong, or wrongly. I said that. I said the definition I thought was maximally. It's not. It's maximally in, as in most fashionable. If you're in fashion. This is something I've never been. I am the opposite of this thing. Hippist. So maximally in. What is the most fashionable thing? It was like an anti-Simon. And the most maximally fashionable thing would be the hippest thing. And a pain is a pest. That child is a right pain. They're a right pest. So we've definitely got that one now. 19 down, 7 letters. Vivid description of old northerner having curries regularly. Okay, well, I don't know what this is, but I suspect it's a word that means vivid. Because curries regularly, we see this from time to time. If you see words like regularly or every now and then or evenly even or oddly, what that's telling you to do is to take the regularly occurring letters from the word curries. So it's either going to be C-R-I-S, which doesn't look very good, or U-R-E, which does. U-R-E could go at the end. Vivid picture? Oh no, old northerner, a Pict. A Pict is a person from an old tribe, I think. Let's look up Pict in the dictionary. Pict, one of the ancient people of obscure origins who lived in Britain, especially northeast Scotland. So there you go, Pict. So we've got Pict, Ur, and a picture is a vivid description. Now what's this then? Start to gag, consistent with smoke. As per, gasper. That's beautiful. Well, not really a beautiful thing, but it's a beautiful clue. Start to gag is G. Consistent. If something is consistent with something, it's as per it. And a gasper must be a... I don't know if that's a cigarette. Maybe a smoke can be somebody who smokes. But it's definitely, I'm sure it's right. Let's look up what a gasper actually is. It sounds like somebody who actually smokes rather than a cigarette itself. Gasper, a person who... A cheap cigarette is a gasper, so that's why it's smoke. A smoke can be colloquially a cigarette, can't it? So gasper there. Is this... Oh, I didn't think about this. Is this a pangram with the Z there? Just when you... If you just let your eyes sort of zone out on the grid, you can see a lot of the letters. It's like spotting an anagram. It feels like there's a lot of strange letters in this one, but we haven't had a Q and we haven't had a J, so there would have to be a lot packed into the bottom left. Let's try 15 down. 8 letters. Continue unchanging message, penning discrimination and slurs. I don't know this one. Continue unchanging, persist or permeate, message, penning, discrimination and slurs. Don't know. I'm not sure. Let's try 25. 7 letters. Short heads feature of mouse. Oh dear. Short heads feature of mouse question mark as well. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we're not thinking about the animal, the mouse, we're thinking of the computer peripheral, the mouse? I mean, a head has a lot of short synonyms in the dictionary. One that does come up occasionally is ness, because it's such a useful ending of a word. So I'm wondering if this might be a 3-letter word that means short, followed by ness, feature of mouse, like coyness or something. Because a mouse is timid, isn't it? Feature of mouse. Shyness. Oh, shyness, I like. Yeah, if you're short of a total, you're shy of it, aren't you? They were just shy. So short and shy are synonymous. A head is a ness. Shyness is a feature of a mouse. Mouses are obviously timid by nature. So permeate's wrong for 15 down. Can we get 23? Oh, this Ibiza would fit now. Oh, that'll be right. Yeah. So casual trade, if you do business, you do the biz, B-I-Z. And that's in island, which can be abbreviated to I, and A, which is a valid abbreviation of American. And that gives Ibiza, which is a famous holiday island. Now, so we've got 12 down and 15 down to do, and we're not going to be able to get any more help. So, wet blankets. I'm just looking at this clue just for a moment without looking at the... Sorry, I'm looking at the letters that we've got to fill in to see if I can think of any word that fits without reference to the clue. Ethics at the end or something. Wet. I don't know. Wet blankets outside during short run. Don't know what that is. There's only going to be one word, I think, that fits this pattern. I've just got to think of it. But I haven't thought of it yet. Wet blankets outside during. What could be out? What's a short synonym for outside? The exterior, not the exit, I don't think. Outside. During short. I'm still not sure. In fact, I'm very much not sure I know what the definition is. Is it wet blankets? If you're a wet blanket, you are a... Oh, bobbins. This is so annoying because I know there'll be loads of people shouting at the screen thinking, what an idiot. How can he not get this? It's totally obvious. It's totally obvious if you've thought of it. Let me tell you that. If you haven't thought of it, it's not totally obvious. Mini devils or something. Wet blankets. Wet blankets. I mean, it could end in IES, couldn't it? Wet blankets. Quite like the idea of that, but what? How do I... Outside. During short. Run. I mean, it almost feels like an anagram of outside somehow. Outside during. Wet. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure now. I'm not sure I like that E. I think that might be misleading me. Basically, all I've got to do is think of a word that fits, and that will be correct there. Let's go back to 15 down. 8 down. 8 letters, sorry. Continue. Unchanging. Message. SMS, is it? Penning discrimination. And slurs. There's too many letters in this clue. Continue unchanging message. I think it... I don't know why my brain keeps going to PER at the start of this. Permeate... Slurs. Besmears? Oh, that's probably right, isn't it? I mean, that's a nonsensical word. Now, why? But that would be to slur, would be to besmear. Continue unchanging, maybe that's just B. And then, yeah, SMS for message. Penning discriminate. Oh, your ear. Good grief. Wow. So continue unchanging, B. SMS, as in message, text message. Penning your discrimination, you've got a fine ear for something, you can really tell the nuances of it, and besmears for slurs. Now, so we're just back to this one. Let's do a quick alphabet trawl and see if any word that fits pops into my head. F, G, H. What do we think this means? We just don't know, do we? J, K, L, L, minute, no, that's just wrong. Finite would be fine, N, O, P, Q, R, wet blanket, S, simile, Oh goodness, what is going on with this one? T doesn't look very good. V. Oh, once you get to V, W, X, Y, and Z, you know you've missed the point. Virile. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to get some help from the clue. Wet blankets outside during short run. I mean, could it be the name of a short run? I don't think it is. Oh, miniseries would fit. Miniseries would fit. Oh, I mean, it must be miniseries. That's a short run, as in a television run. I've no idea why. Wet blankets outside. Oh, why is it miniseries? Wet. Oh, miseries. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, yeah, it's totally fair, and I've been a total fool. Wet blankets. If you're a misery, you're a wet blanket. So wet blankets, miseries. Outside, a word that means during, which is in, and that gives mini-series, which is a short run on television. That is one of the most fantastic crosswords we've ever done. Every single one of those clues was brilliant. I don't know. Actually, maybe I should I'm going to guess John Guyver for this. I might be totally and utterly wrong, but it's just the quality of the clue writing it's so excellent. It's so excellent. That is a brilliant puzzle. And if it's not John Guyver, I will try and give credit to whoever it is. I will find out at some point. And I'll try and make sure they get the credit they deserve for a fabulous puzzle. Now let's have a quick go, hopefully a quick go, at the quick cryptic and see if we can get out of slow mode. Let's see how we go with this. By Shay. Nice socialist relatives, or niece socialist, rid. I don't know. Why can't I get that? Because I'm an idiot. Piece of information, concealed fact is the answer there. It's another hidden. Bit of fish, finger, half gone. Don't know. Oh, fin. I do know. Hot bud, pickled. Hop bud. Pickled. I don't know. Left after naked until. Is that one? Spades and excavation in play area. Sand pit? Let's try that one. Record means something important to tailor. Tape measure, I would think. Let's try that one. Going to the bar and back. I don't know. Stupid amount of money for dumplings. Dim sum. Bust put nearer. Entrance or entrance. Enrapture. It's an anagram. Reportedly go out with marine. C. Homophone. Downturn in trade after downturn is a, I don't know. See you and Mike run regularly. I don't know. Opening of exclusive Eden. Famous chapel is set in Barking. That is the Sistine Chapel. Joint leader is an idiot. Something head. A leader is a head, isn't it? So it's something like Dunderhead or something. Dunder Mifflin. I don't know. Chat about Setter being better dressed. Natia, perhaps. Natia is correct. Good grief. Hurls ripe bananas in Supremo's office is something ship. What is it? Oh, it's something ship. Ruler ship or something. Let's try that one. They are mostly rough and ribald. I think that's earthy, some sort of anagram. What's that one? Caught shy fish. Koi? Caught shy. I don't know. Joint. Knuckle. Oh, knuckle. That is a joint. Knuckle. Is this koi then? Oh, yes, it is. It's a homophone. Nice, kind, kindred. Should have got that instantly. Is this rulership? I think it is rulership. It's not really a word I use very often. Endlessly debate, discuss or discus. Round trip looks like it's going in here. Something about that, wasn't it? Caper, perhaps? Pickled caper. Hop caper. Bud. Pickled. I think that is caper. Finally reprimanded for one's manners in road. Finally. Roads. Drive. I don't know. So that's sashimi. Yeah. Sashimi. Very nice. See you and Mike run regularly. I don't know. What's this then? Raced. Fast car. Yeah, drove fast. Yeah, okay. Trendy, that's in. Decline, trade, line. Force you to put on frock, duress. Oh, see you. Adieu, no. Bye, and Mike, run regularly. It must begin with M. What is this? Finally reprimanded for one's manners. Finally reprimanded for one's manners in roads. Finally. Oh, no, come on, Simon. What is this? Driveways? It can't be driveways, can it? Why would it be driveways? Finally reprimanded for one's manners. For one I've, maybe. Oh, I'm not sure. Finally reprimanded for I think it's driveways. See you. Adios. Mike. But why? See you and Mike run regularly. Oh, it's occur. Oh no, it's adieu. Tape measure's wrong. It's adieu. Oh, that's not helped me. Oh, I've typed tape measure wrong. Okay, that really didn't help me. Sorry. I typed in tape. I don't know what I did, but I didn't have the right letter in. But now I have, and that's dreadful as a result. Dreadful. Look at Chloe, 2 minutes, that's sickeningly good. Driveways was vicious. Absolutely vicious. I think the way that was meant to work. Was it 12 down? Finally reprimanded for, I think is saying DR. One's, I've, manners, ways, in roads, driveways. I mean, that's so hard. That's so difficult. I suppose if I'd known about the A sooner, I was thinking that was an M, and I would have got that sooner if I had tape measure. I don't know what I typed, what I put into that. What did I have? I had an S. So something had gone wrong with my typing there, and I would have got adieu more quickly if it was I blank U, obviously. But even so, driveways was hard. Anyway, there we go. Another 84 minutes of nonsense from me. Let me know in the comments how you got on. Let me know how your cryptic solving is going. Please give the video a like and a kind comment if you can. It all helps with the algorithm, which for some reason doesn't like cryptic crosswords, but we do. And we'd love to keep sharing these videos with you. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.